Hello and welcome to the third annual Cartridge Club Awards. I'm one of your hosts, Musty Hobbit, and we are here tonight to celebrate 2019 in gaming, along with shining a spotlight on some of the content creators in our community that have flexed their creativity throughout 2019 to put together original videos and podcasts and shared them with the club. With me, we have our panel of guests, and it's become somewhat of a tradition to have this group together to discuss the club's favorites. So let me first welcome one of the club's founders, reigning leader of the Most Club Members Met, Round 2 Gaming. Dean, welcome to the CC Awards. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me yet again. This is it's almost my favorite award show of the year, and it's humbling, and I appreciate being invited on yet again.
Fantastic. Well, we're happy to have you, and thank you. This is 3 years in a row then for you, I believe.
Yeah.
Awesome. Everyone should know this next man's introductions because they border on epic. From the Flock Talk podcast and Flock of Nerds YouTube channel, we have Miles.
Hello! Cartridge Club Video Game Awards 2019. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to see you, Miles. I'm glad that you're here. And apologies to everyone who was wearing headphones, but you had to know that was coming. Next up is one of the club's favorite hype men, the host of the Frantic Thoughts podcast, co-host of the Quick Save Club, and now a co-host of Cartridge Club Prime. Josh, welcome to the 2019 Cartridge Club Awards.
Oh my God, I'm here. What's up, guys? Hey, how's it going? I'm glad to be here. I love doing this every year. So what's up?
Yeah, we are happy to have you. And lastly, allow me to introduce another of my Cartridge Club Prime co-hosts, an executive producer and director of this show, our very own It's Rocket Sauce. Ryan, we made it to another year. How are you?
I am terrific. I am happy to be here, and this should be fun behind the director's chair. So you can see all these nice little cuts and fades here. So that's me doing the show here. But yeah, excited to get the show on the road again because it's fun, something I look forward to every year. It's fun putting this all together. So yeah, let's get the show started.
Let's get going. So the way this is going to kind of play out, we have a number of awards that we have to give out, and we've got our fancy little... You hear that? Isn't that one? That's good stuff. Surveys. We did this, and we've done this now 3 years. So surveys were made available via the @CartridgeClub_NA Twitter account through Google Forms. We allowed a single vote to be cast per person, with each ballot allowing a first, second, and third place vote for Game of the Year, a first and second place vote for Podcast of the Year, and a single vote for Community Contributor of the Year. In the case of those community contributions, the requirements were a single YouTube video posted to the Cartridge Club Discord during this calendar year, or for a Podcast of the Year, just a show needed to be released, a single episode in the same time frame. In total, we had 65 votes. We want to thank every one of you for taking the time to fill out a ballot. Additionally, I want to give big kudos to everyone who took the time to share their content with the community over the last calendar year. And we look forward to what 2020 will bring in the form of podcasts, videos, and live streams. Now, regarding vote totals, for those ones that have sequential voting, those individual votes were assigned a point value. First place getting 3 points, second place getting 2 points, and third place getting 1 point, respectively, and those totals ended up being tabulated to give us our top 10 ranking for Games of the Year, and then we did something similar for Podcast of the Year as well. So just kind of lay the ground rules, let you know what we were looking at. But why don't we just get into it? Let's talk about the first award, Best Game Played in 2019 that wasn't from 2019. And this one, I should actually mention, there's a reason this one came out, and I feel like I wanted to change the category here, but the winner is Ryan. Yes. Do you have something? Somebody made noise. We're going. The winner, best non-2019 game played in 2019 is Half-Life.
Woohoo!
And we should say thank you to the Quick Save Club for making this one of their games of the month. I realized when we were looking at this that we have the CC Prime Game of the Year. We have the CC Portable Game of the Year. And I think we could probably argue that in 2019, this is probably one of the most enjoyed and most played games for Quick Save Club as well. So,
yes, our brand new little PC podcast, and it's been a lot of fun to put together with Buried on Mars and Ryan, Retro Game Ranting, and it's just been a really big highlight for 2019 for me. So that's awesome that it won. So
yeah. So any other who played? Dean, did you got a chance to play Half-Life, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So I was lucky enough to play Half-Life 2 with the Cartridge Club way back when, and that was my first dive into anything Valve. And with the release of the Quick Save Club, they got me to download Steam. I have an Epic account now. I have GOG. I just have way too much.
What is happening?
I know.
Bizarre.
And Christmas was just all computer parts, so they've turned me.
Aha.
But yeah, I played Half-Life 1, and it was.
Are you building a computer?
Fantastic.
You're building a computer?
Yeah.
Oh, I just ordered a case today. I'll talk to you about it later. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, look at that. Look at that. We're doing things that people said would never be possible and getting Dean to play digital games. All right. Shall we continue on? We got a lot ahead of us, so let's keep going. Next up is Best Cartridge Club Portable Game. We want to give a big thank you to Curtis for hosting this into its... We're 2.5 seasons in at this point? Are we in the third? We are in our third season right now. In fact, he just had an episode drop today on Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3, on the Game Boy Advance. So you should definitely check that out. The episode is brand new, fresh out of the oven. But we are going to go with Best CC Portable Game, and the winner. Should I read them? Just thinking about that.
Yeah, sure.
Going. You want me to read the nominees?
Nah, that's too much.
That's too much. Okay.
This 10 can, there's like whatever, 12. There's 12 of those. So
here's what you should do. Go to the Cartridge Club podcast feed and look and listen to all of the Cartridge Club Portable episodes. The best game, as voted on by the Cartridge Club, is Super Princess Peach for the Nintendo DS. No, I didn't get a chance to play this because I think at the time I didn't even have a DS. Did any of you guys play along for Super Princess Peach, or have you played Super Princess Peach in the past?
I started it, but I think it was during the travel time for C3, so I was unfortunately ran out of time that month for playing. No, actually, no, that was Batman. So I apologize. I think I started it for my travels because I drove to Philly for the trip, but I ran out of time after playing it. So it's a game I've been meaning to get back to, but it's very appealing because it's you play as Peach as opposed to Mario for a Mario type game.
I emulated it, and I don't feel any shame about it. That's all I'm going to say.
Don't feel shame. No shame. All right. And
my partner and co-host of Flock Talk was on the episode for Super Princess Peach.
You are correct.
So that's a win for us.
I would say
Podcast
so.
of the year, basically.
There it is.
We won. There it is.
Yay.
That
Hi,
Flock Talk hype.
Flock Talk hype. All right. Cool. Well, let's keep it going. We got to get the music and got to get people walking in and out and getting us off stage, and we don't really have to do that. If I just start rambling, you'll just mute me, won't you? Let's move on. Best CC Prime game. Next up, so Cartridge Club Prime. This was the first. This award involves 12 games that were entirely selected by Ryan and myself for 2019, including Shantae Half Genie Hero, Catherine, What Remains of Edith Finch, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, Shenmue, Uncharted 2: Among Thieves, Batman Arkham City, Chrono Trigger, StarCraft, Castlevania 3: Dracula's Curse, Metal Gear Solid 3: Snake Eater, and Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, which we're recording tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that. The favorite and best Prime game, as voted on by the Cartridge Club, was Batman Arkham City.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
If only that rumor for the next game keeps coming true,
What's that?
If only that rumor with the next game coming, keeps coming, that'd be
I'm so disappointed.
CC Effect.
Yeah, they keep teasing it. Warner Brothers Montreal. But
I got disappointed like 5 times this year about, this is the time they're going to announce the next one. This is the next time. And they never do. So,
well, if they do it, then there won't ever be a next time again. So they don't
That's
want to
true.
let you down.
But Arkham City is a fantastic game. And that was a really good episode. I really enjoyed that
We had a good time. So we had Jason from Corpse Flood Gaming, and we had Nintendo Hodge on there as well. We'll actually be bringing him up a little bit later on the show for reasons that I will not divulge right now. But hey, that's awesome. So the Game Grinder says all the winners so far are surprising me. Isn't that
I'm not
fancy?
surprised by Arkham City winning because it's the best Arkham game in the series. But
There you go. Oh man, here we go again.
I'm gonna mute Josh here for a minute because I have controls of that. But
Anyways,
I like them all.
So as a lot of you know, the club itself was founded on this concept of the book club for gamers, and we've been doing we have a few different groups that manage that. So I do want to reiterate for this month and next month we have a handful of games that you could jump in on if you're interested. For this month for Cartridge Club Prime, we are playing Castle of Illusion, which I just beat last week. That was fun. It was a lot of fun. And in February, we are playing Bloodborne, which is super exciting. And I may start that one a little early. For Cartridge Club Portable, January is mobile month, in which you can play any mobile game you want. Curtis likes to do that kind of wild card approach to an episode every year. I might do it again with March, but you want to do something mobile this time. And then in February, they are playing Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. And then the Quick Save Club for January is playing Thief: The Dark Project. And for February is playing Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Bloodlines, Bloodborne, A Link Blood World. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. But yeah, so that's what we have coming up ahead. And this next award is exactly around the games that are ahead. The next award is for the best, well, not necessarily the best, but the 2020 video game that you are the most interested in playing. This is going to be an interesting one to talk about, I think. But the winners are Cyberpunk 2077 and Final Fantasy VII Remake. We had a tie. So we have both early in this year. We have February and April, right? For these two. Dean, I think you're probably most excited for FF7. Am I correct?
Yeah. I keep waiting to be disappointed, and nothing I'm seeing is disappointing me. It is blowing me away with every trailer they put out, every piece of news. It's going to be huge.
Will you download the demo, Dean, or are you going to save it for?
No, I'm just going to get the day one release. Yeah, I'm not a big demo guy.
Yes, there's been a lot of news about FF7 in the last week with leaks and data mining and stuff like that, and I know I've tried to stay above the fray because it's like I don't need that stuff, and we're so close. We're close enough that it's not like it's not likely to dramatically change. But Josh, I think when we had you on for E3, Cyberpunk was among one of your most sought after games.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah,
I think
the hype
so. Level still up there for you?
I think I'm pretty ready for it because like I really love The Witcher 3, and I think that CD Projekt Red has like this huge standard of quality. So I think of course, we got Keanu Reeves. You know, it's breathtaking, and I'm looking forward to just jumping in and just seeing what they have in store, because I feel like every single time they put out a game, they one up themselves every single time. And this one, it feels like, hey, we got this huge budget. Witcher 3 was this huge success, you know. So let's put all the money and all the time and all the effort into this crazy huge game. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what they have in store for that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Ryan, are you going to play a JRPG for once? And are you excited for one or both of these games?
I'm excited.
I say for once. That's not really fair because you've played your fair share of JRPGs on account of the club.
I will say I actually am excited for Final Fantasy VII. I'm not sure it's a day one purchase for me because of my track record with JRPGs, but the demo, if it does drop, I will download it day one because I actually am really interested in the gameplay. It doesn't seem very turn-based for me, even though I believe there is a turn-based option. So that is very appealing to me, is the action style gameplay of the game. It will for sure be a game I play next year. I can't guarantee it'll be day one, but I will be sure probably to get it in sometime next year. So
sounds good. Miles, are you on board for either of these?
Well, a lot of people told me that I should play Final Fantasy VII. They're like, "Oh my God, how come you haven't played that game?" Turns out I'm avoiding spoilers for the remake all these years. So I'm going to just jump in there, see what it's all about.
Very good. All right. Well, that'll be the last we talk about 2020 new releases for the moment. But we're going to get into our top 10. And so I kind of laid out the ground rules, but let's just get into it. We're going to take a few minutes to talk about each of the installments. Again, these are the top 10 games after you do all the calculations from the votes from the ballots that we got. So start with number 10. And the number 10 game, as voted on by the Cartridge Club, is Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, Dean and Josh, I know both of you are quite fond of the series to the point where you put out a pretty hefty primer on this game that if you are new to the series and want to jump into, you should go find that podcast. The two of you and
Agent Poyo,
yes, put together that podcast to kind of prep people for this third game. Go ahead and talk about the game, its relevance for being on this top 10 list with us.
Yeah, I mean, I love this game. It was an early in the year entry in the 2019 roster, so it doesn't have the recency bias of some of the other games that I've played, but it's definitely memorable. It's a Kingdom Hearts game, right? And I think in some respects it may have been a victim of its own hype, but for me, I loved every part of it. It's very colorful. It's whimsical. It's got a great gameplay mechanic. It's what you expect from Kingdom Hearts. But above all, it has a really convoluted, complex story. So this primer that we put together, this experimental podcast, really helped us sort of set the stage for the previous 12 or 13 games in what's called the Dark Seeker saga. And, I felt it lived up to the potential. I think a lot of people will say that it didn't quite answer all the questions that we were hoping it would answer. When you look at some other sagas out there, like the Infinity Saga in the MCU or Skywalker Saga in Star Wars, at least those have somewhat of an ending where you feel like the only thing they can do from there is really expand on the new characters. Whereas Kingdom Hearts has sort of had this MacGuffin or this core catalyst that it still hasn't explained. So as a finale to the saga, I can see why people were disappointed. But if you want probably the best Kingdom Hearts experience out there, get Kingdom Hearts 3.
I totally agree. There's a lot of complaints people have with this game, seeing as a lot of the Kingdom Heartsy storyline isn't really explained or delved into too much until the back half of the game. That's one of the biggest complaints for the game. But half of the experience for Kingdom Hearts is going through the different Disney worlds and seeing the beautiful way they pull it off. You kind of feel like you're just kind of out of place in this different world every single time. And of course, it's they included the Pixar worlds this time. They got Toy Story, Monsters Inc., as you can see here on the screen. And it was just a really phenomenal experience for me because I think it's the best they have refined the gameplay. And I just had a really good time, especially with like the attractions that you can do. You can pull off like Disney park attractions. And this storyline is deep, of course, because we spent a long time putting that podcast together and there's a lot of lore there. It feels very daunting, but the gameplay is really fun to just dive into, even if you don't care too much about the storyline, in my opinion. So I liked it a lot. Yep.
That's excellent. And yeah, thank you for your thoughts on that. And obviously, we had a number of votes for it from the club, so you weren't the only ones who got into that. Did either of you get a chance to try the DLC, or is that appealing to you at all? I heard that was.
It comes out next month, or this month now.
There you go, Mr. Yeah. Me, I'm so misinformed.
And that's okay. Like, yeah, they actually did.
Will you go back?
2019 release.
Will you go back and play the DLC once it comes out?
Yeah, definitely. I'm interested to see what they do with the storyline. It feels like they have some kind of cool loose ends they're going to tie up with that. So I'm excited to try it out when it comes out.
Very cool. All right. Shall we move on? We shall. Number 9. The number 9 as voted on by members of the Cartridge Club is a game that shocked everyone at the Game Awards. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Now, Ryan, you said you've been playing some of this, haven't you?
I have. I purchased it because they had a fantastic deal on Black Friday.
How are you feeling about it?
It's hard. You can easily see this Souls comparison with this game here. It started off very, very easy to accept, but boy, am I getting stuck. So yeah, it's I've enjoyed it a little bit more. I'm still trying to learn it, as this kind of is like my first Souls type game, but yeah, it's definitely taking some getting used to after someone, let's say, ease opening where to introduce you to the game. It was very, very accepting in the beginning. I'm kind of stuck at the moment, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. So Miles, you also have dabbled a little bit. You want to tell us about your thoughts on Sekiro, or maybe why it belongs in this list?
I mean, it was the Game Awards #1 movie, right? Or #1 game of the year. I say movie because it looks so good.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like 20-minute cutscenes and stuff.
No. This game does not suffer from that. It is all gameplay all the time, and it is relentless. I've never played a Souls game either, but this is exactly what I thought it would be like. I haven't made a lot of progress. I even took the day off work today to work on it and play it a little bit more, but you can't even get mad at it. It's one of those games where even though it's so difficult, you get better and you make progress and you feel like that you get that feeling of success every time you make it just a little bit further. And the game flows so well. The controls just work so intuitively and perfectly. So you can't even really blame it on the controls. It's all you. It's you versus the game. And
I don't know about that, Miles. I like to blame it on the controls.
I mean, you can blame it all you want, but yeah, everybody knows from
I don't accept that I suck at this game, you know.
Well, I did recently pick it up, so I have plans at some point to give it a try myself.
I like a lot of like the stealth aspects, or some of it like sneaking up and doing some drop attacks, and I guess it's really is just learning the system more. And like I said, I haven't, maybe because I picked this up at the end of the year, that if I could probably put a little bit more time in, I probably would enjoy it more. I've enjoyed what I've played, but like I said, it is a challenge, and that's kind of what From Software is known for.
It also brought up one of the most controversial things in gaming this year when people were saying, should there be an easy mode? right? And about Sekiro. And I think personally, my beliefs on it were always whatever the developer of the game thinks is the right decision. And this game really forces you to challenge yourself. And the developers built the whole game around its difficulty, it feels like.
And I think that's what I don't know. I'm intrigued by it, very much so. Obviously, it wouldn't be sitting on my desk right now. So, but yeah, I'm glad to see that the club enjoyed that enough to bring it into our top 10. But let's talk quickly about something else that hopefully the club enjoys. We have our first reveal for a future Cartridge Club Prime Game of the Month. This is going to be for the month of March, and we will be playing. This is timely. We will be playing a game. So many people say that they wanted to play. I've seen a lot of people say this on their list, and the people who have played it, myself included, have absolutely loved it. And there's a sequel coming out in March. We're playing Ori and the Blind Forest.
Woohoo!
And I'm super jazzed for that. Now, I believe, Josh, you said you're going to be heading up this month for March, correct?
Yes.
Or you're heading up Ori for March. How excited are you?
I'm really excited. I love Metroidvania style games and platformers. So this is one that's been kind of like, I'm afraid to talk about it. Like, man, I missed that game. I feel kind of ashamed. I missed that game since I'm the platformer guy, you know. So hopefully I stick with it, you know. It's gonna be fun.
You'll be all right. It's
gonna be fun.
It's definitely challenging, but I feel like it's a great choice for this. It's on Game Pass, so if you have drank the Xbox Game Pass Kool-Aid, you can definitely get your fill.
Best deal in gaming, right?
Best deal in gaming.
Yeah,
100%.
Game Buzz. Yep.
Right. But yes, and then if you do have a Switch or something, it's available there as well. PC, all of the above. So hopefully you have a lot of options to play it. And Ori it's so good. If you wanted a Disney type tone setter for a game, I will just warn you the way that some Disney movies begin or some Pixar movies begin, you're gonna get one.
Is that the whole game?
What?
Is it all downer like that, or is it like
no?
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so.
I'm excited to try it out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm right there with the Game Grinder. I haven't played it yet, but I'm super excited too. I've been playing a ton of Metroidvanias, and I can't wait to join the club with this one.
Yeah, it's super.
Same.
Good.
I purchased this a couple of years ago because there's a definitive edition that came out with for this game. It came with the soundtrack, and I purchased it. But I've been meaning to play it for some time now, and now's the opportunity to do so.
It's a Feelsvania. Thank you, FitNet. Okay. Shall we continue on?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Let's do that. So number 8 coming up. And this is one that I don't know that... At least there's not a ton of people in the club who have vocalized that they have played or enjoyed this game. But I know I did. I do, rather. Number 8 is Apex Legends. A battle royale game made our top 10, guys.
Yeah.
How about that? I have some thoughts on this. But I actually, you know what, Josh? I'm going to let you have first thought.
Okay. Apex Legend kind of came out of nowhere. It's Respawn Entertainment. They made Titanfall and the original creators of Call of Duty 4 and a lot of games like that. And so they're like, if you think about shooters, it's like shooters. You think, yes, Respawn Entertainment. You think, oh, Vincent Pella, or is it Vincent Pella? Is that the name? Is that his name?
Yeah,
Vincent Pella. Yeah, okay. And that team. They create A+ shooters. You're gonna have a good time. I'm not gonna lie, I have never really beat this game. I got one battle royale win so far, and it was just like a fluke. I accidentally won. But it's kind of like this new trend for gaming, where it's like games as a service. So they had all this DLC stuff come out. The Battle Pass came out, and they actually did something kind of crazy, which is kind of a new thing that a lot of companies are trying to do, especially like Fortnite and, you know, that type of battle royale genre, is they took the original map out. Just like completely took it out and then say, hey, here's a brand new map. And like, you can't play that old map. Here's a brand new map. Try it out, you know? And it was just kind of cool to see a game kind of come out of nowhere, and it's a free to play game with like all of this, like, you know, charm and, you know, just technical skill, because the game plays so good. It kind of feels like a Team Fortress 2 Overwatch cross with like a battle royale game, which is really cool because you got your own characters that all have different abilities, and you know, it's a lot of fun. I think it's a cool game, and highly recommend it. If you haven't tried it out, it's free. It's worth a shot at least, just to see if you like it. I think it's a cool game.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with you entirely. And I remember when sort of the big reveal happened, and the big deal that came out of it was like, the biggest streamers were all of a sudden playing this new game, and it like eclipsed everything like ever on Twitch. Like it was really shocking when it happened. And I know that there were people in the club who were talking about it, and they were acknowledging the fact that like, you know, it feels like they took Overwatch style characters and put them into a BR game. And I think that is a great way to put it. All these characters are unique. They fit different play styles. I think to me, and I really didn't pick it up until the second season, after they kind of ironed out some of the stuff with the cosmetics and things like that. There's still some things that they're kind of working on, but it's great to see this game with the kind of thunderclap that it had when it started, and then, you know, to just be still going quite strong, even after, you know, some minor missteps and things like that. This year, I think for me, 2019 was like, I realized the appeal of these games to some extent, or at least I found something with this game that actually motivated me to play it. And one of the things that I likened it to, there's some people who really love specific retro games, right? They adore A Link to the Past, and you can only play A Link to the Past so many times in its vanilla form to have it then just kind of become formulaic, and it's like, here, I'm just going through the motions. Yeah. I've seen people lately do a lot of stuff with randomizing the chests, randomizing the item drops and things like that. And I feel like battle royales are effectively a modern version of that. You never know what you're going to get. You're never going to land in the same spot. The same encounter is never going to happen in two games. And it's really amazing to like to play through a game, and the highs coming off of an Apex game are like super high. Like when like getting wins in this game, which I have a few, like the highs are super high and they feel super good, and they're quick, and they get you right back into the games relatively quickly. I have yet to play with a squad. That's one thing that I would like to do at some point, is to play with a full squad of 3 people. So one of these days, maybe somebody in the chat, maybe somebody else, come play. Free game.
I know Steven Eider is like a huge proponent.
He's trying.
Yeah, he always talks about it. He's like, yeah, I'm playing Apex again and no one's with me. I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. I should be playing that with them. Yeah. So,
but yes, I absolutely agree that it belongs here. I was a little bit surprised that it was, given how people kind of turn their noses up at BR games in general. But I think all in all, good choice, people.
It's a cool game. I like it.
For sure. So let's move on. Now that I've drooled all over Apex for a moment, let's move on to number 7. Number 7. Game of 2019 as voted on by members of the Cartridge Club community.
Cartridge Club
is Death Stranding. Now, not all of us have played this. Ryan, I know that you were super jazzed for this one.
Yes.
You want to tell us about your experiences. Did you beat it?
I did beat it.
You did beat it.
So for Death Stranding, let me just pull this all stuff up here because I have to do the production as well. So yeah, this was my number one game that I voted for this year on my list. And as someone who double checks that there's no double voting and whatnot, it seemed like it was either on your number one on your list or was it on your list at all? And I mean, there was some, I guess some heated, I don't know, heated, I should say is the right word for it, but there was definitely a lot of talk. Is it a walking simulator? Is it, this? I don't think so. I had a great time playing this game. It was very, very addictive for me. It was the gameplay for it was just making the deliveries. I didn't even want to advance the game. I was so much more into just making the deliveries, getting the likes. And then when I started chapter 3, which is kind of like, I think the hang up for some of the people in this game, because it's like the longest chapter. I got so much enjoyment out of just making roads and bridges. And that's one way you can get, you level up in this game is by your likes. There's a like system in this game. So I remember, I think after the first bridge I built, after an hour or two, I might've stopped and had supper or something. I came back and I think over 2,000 people crossed the bridge I built or a road I drove. And that like leveled me up 10 levels in a second. I was like, okay, so that motivated me to keep doing that. And supposed to making deliveries, I decided I'd rather just attack the meal camps because I found out which ones had the most materials I needed to make the roads. So I would keep constantly attacking these people to get my supplies, and that made my life easier in the game, like having roads to drive the motorcycles or carts around and make deliveries. So for me, that was even more addictive. And then all of a sudden the game drops level 4 or chapter 4 on you. And the game completely changes for how it was, where it becomes very action oriented. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh, no, please stop. I want to keep making my deliveries here. I'm too addicted to doing this. I know people talk about the music and acting, but for me, the gameplay was what really sunk me in. I was playing this game for like 3-4 hours a night just because I was having so much fun making deliveries or building roads. And I know it sounds stupid, but it was super addictive. It's the most game time I put in a game this year, and I couldn't put it down. That's how much I loved it. Dean, I know you played this as well.
I did, yeah, and I think I'd echo exactly what you said. The first 2 chapters, maybe 2.5 chapters, you're sort of wondering, okay, where is this going, and where's this story taking you? And I wasn't sure if I was going to be on board for the full game. And then it sort of opens up where you can start building roads and really having that sort of social media experience in the game. And I was playing with a friend, and we were hooked. We just kept doing the same thing, building roads, and we said we could do this forever. And then we wanted to advance the story a little bit, so we moved on to chapter 4, and then 5, and then 6, 7, 8, and it was just so fast-paced after that, so different than chapter 3 was. And we didn't actually go back to doing a whole lot of road building or exploring. We just played through the whole game pretty quickly. So it's an awesome game. It's a Kojima story, so you have to like that aspect of it. But it's really interesting how it sort of slow burns up until that point where you're really loving the gameplay, and then it just switches it up on you for the last 3/4 of the game.
Yeah, I'll echo your statement just there, because chapter 4, the game starts going by really quick, and I had to stop myself from doing this because I wanted my roads weren't done. There's so much roads to be built, and here I am. I'm like, no, I cannot do this until at least my roads are built. I do not want to advance because I need my likes, to keep me playing. So I don't know. I truly love this game. I encourage more people to play it when maybe it gets cheaper if it's something you're just curious about, because I know some people are either there in the love it or hate it group, but I absolutely love this game. It was fantastic for me. I can't get enough of it. So that's what I have to say.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Hey, you know what? This one's also sitting on my desk.
Get to it. It's a good stream one. It's a good streamer.
Is it though?
I don't know. I think so. It's relaxing. That's for sure.
Sounds like it's relaxing until the point.
Yeah, that's true. Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is when everything changes.
Well, you know what else is the fourth? The month of April. Fourth month of the year. And so let's talk about what April's game of the month is going to be. Now, last year, we decided to install a very specific game series that would kind of serve as a in this spot. So for April, we are going to play The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Hey, listen.
Hey! So we, Ryan, I know that you specifically wanted this one. Well, we kind of wanted a balance, right? Because we talked about last year or 2019 we played Zelda 2.
Yep.
The divisive one.
Yep.
And so we wanted to balance it because I know at first you're like, I want to play my favorite Zelda.
Yeah.
This is your favorite Zelda.
If I'm hosting Cartridge Club Prime, we were going to at least play Ocarina of Time at least one point at some point here. It's my favorite game of all time. I still think it holds up greatly, despite the polygons and N64 look. It's still a great game. It's on the 3DS version as well. It's on GameCube. It's on the N64. A lot of games owe it credit for what it did. So we're going to be talking about that in April. A much better Zelda game than Zelda 2. So take that.
Well, it should be good. We got a good panel for it too, who shall remain nameless until the time comes around. But let's move on. Gone through 4 games so far. Let's hit number 6. The number 6 game, as voted on by members of the Cartridge Club community, is Gears 5. This one, I think I may be the only one who's played all the way through this, but I'm very, very pleased with this game. Going into this year, I was behind on the Gears series, and when they were pushing, I knew 5 was coming, but like they really ramped it up, mid-year. They were really pushing it. Really motivated me to get caught up, so I could be there at the launch of a first-party Xbox title, which just hasn't been happening up to this point. This was also one of the first major releases that was like Game Pass day and date. So thanks, Xbox. Best deal in gaming. I feel like this game, the performances in this are fantastic. Laura Bailey returns as Kate Diaz. She does a wonderful job. It's great to see a strong female lead in a series that seems so dominated by what people would label as like, meathead type people who can't, turn their necks and things like that. But I really liked it. Having just come off 3 and 4, this one could have just been another installment and been kind of formulaic, but it was great to see that the Coalition made such an effort to evolve the gameplay and to be more than just a linear cover shooter. There is open world aspects, and you can dive into that as much as you choose to. But honestly, I was so drawn in by figuring out what was going to happen next in the story that I just kept pushing. I just kept going forward. I like the fact and they've done this in previous ones, so they find good ways to integrate the multiplayer modes into the campaign to kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what Escape is or what Horde is like. And so it really just kind of, if you're looking for more than just a story campaign, there are options there, but the story itself is really quite good. Now, I will say, if you haven't played a Gears game before, 1, you should remedy that. 2, if you want to just jump in with Gears 5, there is a primer built into the game that gives you everything that has happened up to this point. It gives you all the major details and kind of sets up. It kind of quickly summarizes games 1 through 4 so that you can be ready to go into Gears 5. So, highly recommend it. And yeah, I'm happy to see that it made the list, considering this year wasn't for Xbox in general. Like this year was still a slow year, but I'm kind of excited to see where things go from here. All right. So let's move on. Number 5. Number 5 is a console exclusive world premiere. Number 5 is Super Mario Maker 2.
Woohoo!
Josh, woohoo! I know how excited you were when this got announced. You want to talk about your experiences with Super Mario Maker 2 and why you feel it deserves a place among the top 10 games from this last year?
Am I the only one who played this here? Probably, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, I love this game. I think when they initially announced this on Wii U, when it came out for Wii U, that we're all kind of blown away by the prospect of making our own Mario levels. It's such a cool concept. And then here they added even more. A lot of people say this one is more like, hey, we took the first one and put it on the Switch, a console that more people owned. But honestly, they did really deck it out and add a lot more. They added more themes. As you can see in the video here, they added slopes, which a lot of people would say, Mario Maker 1 didn't have slopes. No, it didn't. It was all squared tile format. And it was just taking that original game, putting it on a modern system that thousands, millions of people had, making it more accessible for everybody, and adding a lot of really cool features to it. And just, that when you're a kid, you play Mario, you're like, man, I can make a cool Mario stage. And there's a lot of shitty stages on here. I'll tell you that much. There really is. There's a lot of terrible stages on here as you go through and play randomized mode. But when you find those levels where somebody takes this cool idea and then flushes it out to something that's just mind-blowing. They take these mechanics, the mechanics we all know and love for 20 plus years, and they add on to it and do such a unique concept that you've never thought of before. And that's the magic of this game. And that's why I love it so much, because you can go in and just see all these creative attempts at making something brand new that you never thought could have been done in a Mario game. And that's why I love it so much. So yeah, it's a good game. Badass. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does it exceed the first game in every capacity? Is there ever a need to go back and play Mario Maker on the Wii U?
There are things that the Wii U version does that the new version doesn't do, because they had the amiibo support in the original, where you can actually scan in all your amiibos and have those characters in the Super Mario Brothers original style. But the latest update, they actually added Link, which was kind of a cool addition. They actually added a bunch of new mechanics by adding Link to that style, because you can actually throw a bomb, do a bow and arrow. So a lot of people are playing with this new character and adding all these really cool stages, based on these new mechanics. And I don't know if Nintendo's going to continue with that trend, but what they have so far, it's been really cool to see. So I like it. It's basically Infinite Mario when you go in there. And they do have the Nintendo stages, which are very fun and creative too. So the campaign is a lot of fun. There's over 100 stages in that as well. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Let's move on to number 4. And number 4, as voted on by members of the Cartridge Club community, is The Outer Worlds by Obsidian Entertainment, and the spiritual successor to the Fallout series. Now, some of us have dabbled a little bit. A lot of us haven't had the opportunity to really sink a ton of time into this, but I know.
I heard the 1 yard line. I heard the 1 yard line.
He's at the 1 yard line, guys. That's awesome, dude. Thank you. Hey, high five. Catch you later.
I was doing my punt, and it was a throw.
That's good, buddy. Make sure you run the ball.
Look who's here.
I know. Get her out.
No, that's
Yep. Thank you. Close the door. Oh, live show, everybody.
How cute. All right.
How cute. So, as I was saying, a few of us have had a chance to sort of dabble in the Outer Worlds with a few hours in. Ryan, do you want to talk about your experiences so far in the game, or maybe if you can kind of shed some light on why this one made it?
I want to say it made it because it's on Game Pass, right? Because that's the reason I played it. As someone who really hasn't dived too far into the Fallout world, it's very much a Fallout game. I've played Fallout 4 a little bit. I've dabbled slightly with Fallout 3. I just have never had the opportunity to really sit down and play it. But because it's on Game Pass, I was actually giving it a try. It's one of the last few games I was trying to get in before the end of the year. I've been playing it a lot more recently too, and I've been enjoying my experience with it. I'm still kind of learning how the game works, but I'm about 4 hours in to playing this game, and it's very beautiful. One thing I can really say about it is it's a very colorful game compared to the Fallout games I've played, which are kind of more the well, it's a burnout world, right? This is more colorful planets and different things. I've enjoyed my experience so far exploring these worlds, and I've had a really good time with it. So I could see why it's on this list here. I know Fallout has its fan base, and it's very much from the people who made Fallout New Vegas, as you can see right there. Perfect time.
Oh, what? Look at that.
But yes, I've had a really good time playing this game.
Miles, how about you?
I haven't actually sunk too much time into it, but Game Pass has been so amazing this year, releasing a bunch of AAA games and as well as all the indies. So I installed it and I started playing it a little bit. But 2019, they release all these long games at the end of the year. How are we supposed to play all these long games? Come on!
I hear that.
I'm like 45 minutes in at this point. You can already see the writing is going to be top notch in this, and I don't have a ton to say because of that. But like there are just some stuff in that opening planet. It's just like how does this look this good? Like there's a moment where you just sort of you just walking around in this little like valley, and all of a sudden you look up and like there's like 2 planets rising at the same time. It's just like, this is amazing. Like I love it. I hear everyone talk about like it's like part Mass Effect and part Fallout and like part Bioshock. Like all of those things are exactly what I would want. I just need the time.
The aesthetics are on point. The aesthetics are on point for sure.
Yeah. But yeah. Sounds like there's a lot of people who are excited about this, and I know Caleb did a review on that as well. So everyone should go check out that game. But before we check out more games in this top 10 list, let's talk about something that we started this year for the calendar year of 2019. Prime decided to add a new feature to encourage people to share their exploits with Cartridge Club Prime Games of the Month on their social media. So we started the hashtag Play Along with Prime. And we said that everyone who uses this, you can use it once a month. Everyone who uses it gets an entry in a drawing. Now, we did that drawing. I have video evidence of the results. And I have already contacted the winner because the winner selected the next game of the month. So, let's see what Nintendo Hodge wants us all to play for May. He said this is one that everyone should play. And I'm interested to hear the response on this because I didn't know what to think as to whether I was excited or not. But playing Undertale in May. Raucous fanfare.
Stands.
So he we can thank Hodge for selecting this. Now, is that coming through my headphones only, or are you hearing that too? I hear it chime. Sorry.
Yep.
Anyways, so Hodge selected that game for us. We'll be playing that in the month of May, and I had a feeling that there were going to be some people who felt very, very strongly in favor of this. Now I don't know. I've always been leery of it. Like Earthbound never grabbed me, and I know people were talking about how this is like so influenced by that game. But it looks like even just in the chat right now, we're getting some good choices or some good feedback on this. So Hodge, you done good. Nice job. Panel, anyone looking forward to that? Or are you pleased with the fact that that got chosen?
I loved it. I played it, I think, last year on PS4, and I had a really good time with it. But having played it once, you kind of want to go back and play it again. So I think it's a really good game for the club.
When Musty, when you told me that was the choice, you said it wasn't a very long game, correct? It was about 8-9 hours or so, right?
I think that's right. I think you can play it faster.
Okay, but it definitely was. You definitely hear all the.
It's approachable, is what I understand.
Yeah,
and it sounds like there's some chatter going on right now about what options you'll have to play it, and yes, it's on pretty much everything. PC
I saw it's on
included,
Switch, so I can actually play it. It's not just a PC version.
There you go. But yeah, yes, as I understand, it's fairly short. I understand there's multiple ways to approach it. So it'll be really interesting to see what kind of conversation we can get going. This game is talked about very, very highly by a lot of people. So I think it's a great choice, and I wish Hodge was here to be able to hear that. But anyways, any other thoughts on Undertale before we move on? Nope. Okay. Now, you would wonder, why are there 2 number 2s? We had a tie, so I'm randomly going to grab one of these. Both of these were number 2. Matt Pat gave a copy to the Pope of Undertale? Okay. Well, anyways, moving on. So one of the number 2 game of the year, as selected by the Cartridge Club, is Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Now, there was a stretch of this summer where I heard a ton about this game, and I had no desire to play it myself, but you were all over it, weren't you, Dean?
Yeah, I was. This is in my own top 3 as well, and this is coming from somebody who's not a fan of the Fire Emblem series. Not because I don't like them, simply because I haven't played a lot of them. I remember back in the GameCube days, I was playing Super Smash Bros. Melee, thinking, why did they waste character roster characters on Marth and Roy? Who are these people? Nobody knows them. And fast forwarding to the latest entry, I'm going to go back and play them all. I was pretty worried getting into this game that I would have to know a lot of the Fire Emblem lore. And I was worried about the whole academia aspect of it. You're essentially a professor at this monastery, Garreg Mach, and between the battles and the story beats, you're spending all your time doing things like relationship building, cooking for your students, eating with them, finding lost and found items, and running errands and fishing and gardening. And that just didn't sound very appealing to me, and it ended up being my favorite part of the game. There's like 30 some odd recruitable students that you can get, and you get to know them all pretty intimately. It's pretty fantastic how Nintendo takes such a large character roster and lets you just really dive deep into the personalities of all of them. And the storyline is great. The voice acting is fantastic. The music is wonderful. I think this is a huge home run for Nintendo. And if you're thinking about getting into the Fire Emblem series, you like strategy games, I think this one is definitely the one to do it. You don't need to know much about anything. And if you enjoy that style of gameplay, you're going to enjoy Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, and I know there was a large swath of the club that was probably talking about this in Twitter DMs or something quite regularly. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me to see that it landed as highly as it did.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest pieces it has going for it is it has really 3 pretty distinct storylines that you can follow. So your experience playing through for the first time could differ pretty dramatically from mine. They're all intertwined, but there's a lot of replayability in there as well. So I'm already thinking about going back and playing as some of the other professors. It's sort of like a senpai simulator. It's pretty fantastic.
Gotcha. Awesome. All right. Well, let's look then at the other number 2. So again, Fire Emblem 3 Houses and this game tied And this game is Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 remake. And oh man, did I hear a lot about this game when this got revealed. Ryan and Miles, you both have had some good time with this game. Want to let Miles? Let's have you start. Talk about RE2.
So this was actually like way back in my past. My very first Resident Evil game was Resident Evil 2. Played it with a friend over a couple of weeks during the summer, and it was such a blast. So I was really looking forward to getting back and playing Resident Evil 2, the remake. And the thing that really stands out for me the most about this game is that it feels like almost a completely different game. Like, it is remade from the ground up. This has set a new standard for what remakes need to be. The quality, the controls, everything really, really knocked it out of the park. And just going back into that world and playing as Leon and Claire and seeing that police station again, it brought back a ton of great memories. And it also added way more content than I've seen in a lot of other remakes. What do you think, Ryan?
Oh, I loved it. It came out in February of 2019, and I think if it came out in October, I think there probably have been more hype for it. I think maybe because I got released so early. It's an amazing remake. It's really, really good. I can't speak for it enough. It was one of Capcom's best-selling Resident Evils of all time, so much so that they gave away free DLC, story DLC for this game, because it was so successful. They just gave away for free, and it's basically like what ifs, whatever happened to the gun shop owner, and there's a couple more. I've yet to go back to it. I've been meaning to, but I like to play my spooky games in October, and I kind of missed the opportunity to do it this October. I loved it. I had a great time playing this game. I will say this was also my first Resident Evil game, and it made me a franchise, a fan of the franchise, so much so that I've went on to play all the other ones. But I can't speak for this enough. I love this game. I hope people grabbed it on Black Friday because they had some fantastic deals here in the States for this one. But no, if you haven't played this one, play it. It's totally worth it. It gets me excited for Resident Evil 3. So I want a Code Veronica remake now. I kind of want a remake of the first game done this way.
Give me all of them.
Yeah, give me all of them like this.
Preferably in one collection set that comes out all at once. That would be nice.
And on sale. And I want a nice sale price.
At a sale. Come on.
I don't want to be paying full price.
I already own this game. Give me a sale.
I jumped on it right away because I had a gift card left over because it came out in early February. I had a leftover gift card from Christmas, and I was happy to get it right away. So all the new little things that they changed with this game, I loved. It gets me excited more and more for the third game. So
what do you think of the voice coming out of the controller sometimes? Like,
I had headsets on, so I didn't get that. I turned the lights off. I put the headsets in. I like to be scary, so
a braver man than me.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Play it, people.
For sure. And we just played the original not last October, the October prior, in preparation. So I'm glad to hear that it is it didn't feel like it was just a coat of paint. Like, yeah, it looks dramatically like it's impressive what that game looks like. Let's get another Prime announcement.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about what June is going to bring us. So again, I just want to reiterate for those who missed earlier, I want to just go through the previous Prime announcements. March, we are playing Ori and the Blind Forest. April, we are playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In May, selected by Nintendo Hodge, we are playing Undertale, and in June, we are playing Gears of War. So, if you have not had a chance to get into the series, you will have a chance now. There are multiple versions of this, all available on Game Pass. I believe they're readily accessible if you have a 360. Really excited. We we've played a Halo game, we've played, but we haven't ever touched a Gears game, and it seems to be like one of the franchises that really sticks out, especially from the 360's offerings. What do you guys think of the selection?
The 5th game made the list. It's got its fan base, We've yet to play it, and we're 7 seasons in. So let's get a Gears in us.
Top Spot's asking if it's the OG or like the definitive edition. I guess it doesn't matter either one.
It doesn't matter.
You play whatever you would like, whether it's the Ultimate Edition or the original. Enjoy the game.
Just not the pop figure one. Don't
Nope.
play that.
Well, that's an entirely different game, but yes, Gears Pop or Gears Tactics, which comes out this year too. But we're playing the Gears of War, the first game, in whatever capacity that you are able to do. So we've gone through 9 games so far. Again, number 10 was Kingdom Hearts 3. Number 9 was Sekiro. Number 8 was Apex Legends. 7 was Death Stranding. 6, Gears 5. Number 5, Super Mario Maker 2. Number 4, The Outer Worlds. Tied for number 2 was Resident Evil Remake and Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Which brings us to the Cartridge Club Game of the Year, as voted on by members of the Cartridge Club community. The Game of the Year is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Nice.
And I know that I have to wonder if some of this is a byproduct of the number of people who actually played it. I recently picked this up, and Josh, I know you did as well.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about you just started it like today, right?
Literally I played like 4 hours today.
I saw a bunch of your tweets about it. Tell me your thoughts on this Star Wars game.
Initial impressions is I am very sad that I didn't try it sooner, and I'm loving it to death. I think it's some of the best animation. I have seen some of the bugs that people have talked about, but it's not like hindering my gameplay at all. I'm just having a great time, and it's so fun so far. I've only went to like 3 different worlds so far, so I know there's a lot more to it. But yeah, it's been fun, and I'm excited to try a lot more.
I think it's really interesting that both you and I have played the Respawn games, and nobody else on this panel has. But I've been dabbling with this. I really like. I myself have never played a Souls game. I feel like this is a good starter for that. Perhaps. Yes. I've been enjoying the combat. I think they do some nice a nice way of not punishing you as hard as they do with a Dark Souls game or Demon Souls or whatever, Bloodborne, which we're playing in February for Cartridge Club Prime. I will say visually, it is impressive.
Oh,
Souls lightsaber. That's good. That's good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a comment. Like, I played like 4 or 5 hours on Bloodborne, and I was like, man, this game is pissing me off. I gave up on it, whatever. And then I'm playing this game, and I'm fighting bosses, and it has such a familiar and similar like feel to Bloodborne that this one is making me almost want to go back to Bloodborne just because like did I just miss out on this awesome genre that I forgot? Because the Star Wars like coat of paint is making me love it even more. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. But yeah.
Yeah, I know some people have commented about like knowing some of the actors from familiar other things. Like there's a character who used to be he was on Shameless and Gotham as well. The lead character is and how that some people said that takes them out of the game. I don't know, like I agree with where this is at, and I'm barely scratched the surface with this game.
Same here.
I owe it more time.
Dean, you've been playing it too, right?
Yeah, I'm about halfway through. I've been chatting a lot with fellow Cartridge Club member Fitnat, who's just this Star Wars encyclopedia. And he sort of warned me about where I'm at in the game. I should really finish up season 4 of the Clone Wars. So I'm trying to get through that before I continue on with the game. So about halfway through, but this is my game of the year. Like, without a doubt, I don't care where it goes from here. It's my game of the year. It is so good. And I dove headfirst into the deep end with Star Wars this year. I'm like 8 novels deep. I got all the comics. I rewatched all the movies. I'm watching the 2 or 3 TV series. Like, I'm all in, and this game is just a cherry on top. It is so good, even without the Star Wars backing behind it, and the fact that it dives deeper into the lore and a lot of the stories and characters that I like is just fantastic. I love this game.
And I will say, for those who maybe are leery because it is Souls-like, there are multiple difficulty modes. My son completed the tutorial. That guy who came in a few minutes ago, he went through the tutorial. You can do it. You can do it. But yeah, it's great. I hope, like, have they said whether it's going to fit in canon? Does it matter? Does it really matter? Do you think?
It's canon.
It's canon.
Fitnat will tell us in the chat.
But yeah.
Now, was this really the game of the year, or does everybody just really like Mandalorian a lot? I feel like Baby Yoda has had its effect on the vote this year.
It could have. It could be a matter of timing. It could be. I mean, it's. I know there are a lot of people really excited about it, but you know what? Like, there were 10 games we just went through. There's stuff that we're excited about too that didn't get the votes to scratch into that top 10, or maybe just missed. Why don't we go through a few honorable mentions, because I want to give some of these other games just a few moments to shine. We each have 2. So, Ryan, I'm going to give you an opportunity to go through yours first.
Yes. Sorry, Musty. We said we were going to do them both right away. Get them knocked out right away.
Yeah. Go ahead and knock both.
So my one I can't believe didn't make the list is Devil May Cry 5. All of you should be ashamed for not voting for that game. It's one of the best games out this year, and it's on Game Pass, so you owe it to yourself to play that game. It is so good. It might be the best game in the franchise. It's definitely kind of been like a revival year, in my opinion, for Capcom, with how great Resident Evil 2 is and how much fun I had with Devil May Cry 5. I was going back and forth in my head. Did I like this one the most out of actually the whole list was kind of like that for me, but to me Devil May Cry it should have been on this list. Even at 10 it should have been on this list, and it just missed it by vote totals. Just short of a vote. And then my other choice would be Days Gone. I know I'm a Sony fanboy, but that was definitely a game that I had low hype on, and I snagged it up for $20 during E3 by mispricing it at Walmart. And I actually had a really good time with that game. It was more than I thought I was going to get for it. It's that in Death Stranding are 2 games I always debate going back to because there's so much stuff to do. And I know that's the turnoff for some people to do, but you don't have to do it. You can just continue in the story. But there's a lot of stuff I was having fun in doing this game, like taking out the giant hordes. And there's a lot more of that to do. And they give away free DLC for this game too. I recommend it. Pick it up at a cheap price. It was a great time. I had a great time playing this game.
Very good. Honorable mentions. I know there was compared to previous years, there were fewer Nintendo games, but maybe you can help us out with that.
Yeah. I've been traveling a lot this year, so I got a lot of Switch time in. So both of mine are exclusives for the Nintendo Switch. The first one is Luigi's Mansion 3. I haven't played a whole lot of the second entry, but this game totally had me addicted. It's you play as Luigi, as you do in all Luigi's Mansions games, but you play in this like multi-story skyscraper hotel, and every floor has a different theme. You have the pyramid theme, jungle theme, Hollywood theme, and so it's always fresh. You catch ghosts and you collect things and you suck up things, and it's such an addicting, fun pick up and play sort of game where you can just play one floor at a time. It's got great humor in it. I think it's great for all ages. I highly recommend picking up Luigi's Mansion 3 if you haven't already. The second one is Pokemon Sword Shield. And that's a game that I really didn't anticipate enjoying as much as I did. I think Game Freak continues to surprise me with how well they can keep true to the tried and true 1996 formula, while still making enough changes each entry to keep people engaged. And this one just had me from beginning to end. I didn't put the Switch down. It doesn't have all 800 and some odd Pokemon. It has about 400, but those ones are great for me. The Dynamax system of battle is great. And I think this is the only Pokemon game I've ever had where I'm constantly listening to the soundtrack outside of the game. It's got fantastic music. Again, super whimsical. It's just a great Pokemon experience. And if you liked Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee, it takes a lot of the mechanics from that and brings it over. So highly recommended those two Switch games.
Very good. So Miles, let's hear from you. Now you have, I don't know if it's a theme to yours as well, being, I guess, lesser known titles?
So for me, 2019 was about the indie games. The indie games were so good, and I got to play a lot of them because Game Pass exists. My top 3 when I voted were all write-ins, all indie games. One that I really want to talk about is Untitled Goose Game, which was just a delicious adventure game about a goose that has done taking smack from people, and now it's bent on revenge. It was better than the memes. There was memes of ducks everywhere in 2019, but the game was just very clever, funny, and for me, humor in a game is 100% the most important thing. When I'm playing a game, it grips me like nothing else. So I loved Untitled Goose Game. My second honorable mention is another indie game, Slay the Spire. It is a card game roguelike, where you're constantly building like a limited deck. If you play Magic the Gathering, you know what I'm talking about. But if you it's kind of like Hearthstone, all those games, except it's single player, it's not online, and it's just a wonderful game that you gotta give a shot. It's free on Game Pass, so if you have that, try it out.
Very good. Josh, I want to hear your honorable mentions as well.
I'm kind of taking a similar route to Miles. Mine are both a little bit smaller indie games. The first one I wanted to mention was Katana Zero. Highly recommend this one, especially if you're a fan of like Hotline Miami and those fast-paced, like there's a room and you got to get through it really fast and figure out the puzzle. And if you die, you got to start over that room and keep trying it again. It has time travel mechanics that are part of the plot, and it's a very fascinating time travel storyline, and I loved it quite a bit. It's stuck in my brain. I think about that game all the time. And then one I actually played pretty recently, which is only available on PC so far, but they do plan it to bring it to consoles this year coming up. So if you're not a huge PC player, your chance is coming up to play this, but it's called A Short Hike. And this one's a kind of a weird one to describe. It has almost like a 64-bit style to it. It's this world. Basically, you're this girl that goes to the wilderness, and your job and your like whole goal is to take this hike to the top of this mountain. And you meet a bunch of really cool characters and have conversations with them, and you slowly but surely get this ability to climb even more as you go through it. It's so charming, and it kind of moved me a little bit, had a really cool storyline, and that's the type of game I really like latch onto. So if you want a moving game that has an interesting art style, and it's kind of small, it took me like three maybe 4 hours to play through, and I just love it to death. It's just one of those games that makes you feel good, you know. So yeah, that one's called The Short Hike and Katana Zero. So those are my honorable recommendations for this year.
Awesome. Well, let me give two of my own. The first of which was one of the first games that I tried on Game Pass and changed how I view this genre entirely. So the game is Void Bastards, which, like I said, like Void Bastards itself made me care about roguelike games. It's a super colorful, comic book looking take on a first person shooter. It's peppered with all kinds of what I believe to be very like British humor, especially some of the language that gets thrown around in that game. It's a really unique challenge. It kind of tests how willing you are to take chances. It's got a really fun loop to keep you pushing forward. I would give this a very high recommendation to anyone looking for a break from like traditional first person shooters. But if you dig that kind of reward loop, it is a ton of fun, and it's super funny. Like, and then the other one, which was the one that I voted on as my game of the year, and that is Control. And anyone who's familiar with Remedy's style of like mobility centered kinetic combat is going to feel right at home with this game, along with a narrative that features really good writing. The performances are awesome. Like just the visual aspect of this game and the building that you are in, like you can just get lost in this, and they certainly allow you to do so. They've even gotten so far as like the collectibles, like reading everything about the collectibles, watching the videos and audio logs and things like that are all like super well done. And it scratched a few itches that I haven't had in a while with a game. And I think it is an absolute must play. And the way that your character progresses constantly, you continue to get these new expansions to your powers. Like, it's really good. I hope it comes to Game Pass. There's a rumor that it's supposed to, but yeah, I would recommend it. I ended up pulling the trigger on it because I had some credit, and I was just like, I want to play it now. So I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. And you know, if you, I see somebody mentioned Quantum Break. Don't worry about Quantum Break. Like you can come back to Quantum Break, but Control's wild. Wear headphones. Let me just say that.
I'll say that both Control and Devil May Cry both made the list, missed the list by 1 point. So they're very close to making the list, Musty. It was just short. So
I voted for both of them.
Blame the Nintendo fans.
There you go.
They flooded us.
Well, you want to talk Nintendo fans? Why don't we talk about July's Game of the Month for Cartridge Club Prime? It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Summer month. A lot of people like to go on vacation. Sometimes vacations involve flying to a remote destination like Yoshi's Island. So in July, we will be playing Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo. It is also available on the SNES Classic. I believe it's also on the Switch Online service. But yeah, we're missing a SNES game. Let's get a SNES game in the mix here. So awesome. Yoshi's Island for July.
That's awesome. I'm stoked for that one.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. And then I should mention again that August game will be selected by the patrons. We will have, if you are a patron currently, you'll get notified soon of nomination time. So we'll get ideas in there for those who are interested in doing that. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you guys are excited by that.
Oh yeah, I'm stoked.
Good choice by those who raised that one to the level of being selected. And we got 2 awards left. But you guys don't know this. I have a surprise for you. I got breaking news from the man himself, Curtis Friesel.
What?
He wanted to announce the rest of season 3 for CC Portable. So he's already announced up through March. April is going to be a vote off between Mega Man X or Mega Man Powered Up on the PSP. There'll be a vote on Twitter to decide which one. And then the season 3 finale for May will be the first RPG ever on CC Portable. Mother 3.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. How about that? There you go. So thank you, Curtis, for dropping that breaking news. I'm happy to announce that for you guys.
Y'all pick some crazy games this coming year. I can't wait
Yeah.
to get into so many of them. Really
That's what-
great curating.
That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're hoping for. I'm excited. As excited, I am equally excited to open up the next award. This is a new category. Wait, no, it's not a new category. We did this last year.
It was a revision. It's a revision of how we had it set up.
Yes.
Yes.
So community contributor of the year. Last year was like YouTube creator of the year or something.
It was
to that
whoever
effect.
uploads to the Cartridge Club website.
Gotcha. So with the website being retired, well,
R.I.P.
with the old version of the website being retired, rest in peace. We had to shift how we fulfill the qualifications for this, and it came down to if you shared a video of yours in the club Discord, then you were included into this. So we had a pretty substantial list of people. So thank you to everybody who does that. Being willing to share your content to the Discord, I know sometimes can feel like a futile effort, but people watch and people, appreciate seeing that stuff. It's great to see what you guys are all doing, and I hope to see more of that in the coming year. But we do want to recognize the person who received the most votes, and that person is ready for this. Congratulations, Pam from Cannot Be Tamed, for being named Community Contributor of the Year, as voted on by members of the Cartridge Club. Congratulations. It's super exciting.
Yeah, it's well deserved. She has an awesome YouTube channel. I've been loving all her videos this year, or last year, I guess. Yeah.
She's a great content creator. Couldn't have gone to anybody better.
For sure. Congratulations, Pam. I hope she's here. In anyways, we will get word to her that has happened.
She'll find out.
Oh yeah, for sure. So there's one envelope left. One envelope left. It's the one. It's the one that this whole show kind of got born out of. It's Podcast of the Year. And this is I don't know. I'm super excited for this. We're gonna open this up. Everyone ready? You ready for this?
No.
No, nobody's ready. Well,
Is that picking up? Yes.
It is. It is.
There you go. Okay. Well, the winner. I don't even have a lot of fanfare for this. But let's.
I can only jump for so long.
There you go. Keep going. Keep going. The winner, Podcast of the Year for 2019. Congratulations, Polykill Podcast, for winning consecutive Podcast of the Year award.
Wow.
Congratulations, guys.
That's
well
awesome.
deserved.
That's what happens when they hammer it home again and prove a point that it wasn't an accident, right?
There you go. And they even shifted things throughout the year. Awesome job, guys. Your episodes are wonderful, and keep up the great work.
It's one of my personal favorite podcasts. When I see them pop on my feed, I click on it and listen to it instantly. So, yep.
And we even got Off Kilter this year too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Off Kilter was nominated separately, and Off Kilter didn't win.
Well, it's all part of the Polykill family. They're doing a lot of good work.
Yes, they are, for sure. So, that is all the awards, everybody. I do want to do a little bit of housekeeping. But I do want to say, as a reminder to everybody, and I mentioned the August game nomination is open or will be open for current Patreon supporters. The club itself is funded entirely by pledges from members of our generous community. We're extremely grateful to those supporters. So if you're interested in becoming one of them, take a look into that. Patreon.com/Cartridge Club. I want to thank everyone who's been in the chat. The chat has been great to see. Thank you for being here with us and for participating in this. warms my heart to see you guys take some time out of your day to hear us just ramble on about some games. So thank you for that. Big thank to the panel as I turn to you guys are still here. Thank you, panelists, for coordinating to make this happen. Ryan, thank you for pushing to get this done as well. Like I appreciate the nice little bump in presentation that we got this year. So
well, I'll thank STC for finding StreamYards.
Hey,
it's got nice features for free for this version, definitely more than Hangouts did. So yeah, I did some testing this last weekend, and we finally found a platform that I think completely exceeded what you probably need for free. Even there's more features that I hope to explore with this, and maybe I can get a little bit tighter with more experience with this. So I'm glad the people are enjoying the presentation. It's fun to do the show, and can't wait to the next year. We get to vote for more. This is a fun thing to do. I look forward to doing every year. Thanks, panel, for being here. You're the guys I look forward to doing with us every year. And Musty, thanks for really taking the bull by the horns and leading the show here. It's fun to do this every year, and can't wait to do it again next year.
Yeah. Well, and I think we've already got some. I have some ideas kicking around for new categories for next year as well. We could have some fun with that. But let's go ahead and let things kind of ride tonight. Again, panel, thank you. So if you could tell us, panelists, where to best find you on the internet, Dean.
Yeah, these days probably Twitter, round_2_gaming. Around Discord, Cartridge Club Discord. Occasionally around the Cartridge Club forums. Just anywhere Cartridge Club, I'll usually be there.
Very good, Miles.
You could check me out on Twitter at Flock of Nerds. And you can also check out our podcast called Flock of Nerds. It's available wherever podcasts are available.
Awesome. Josh.
Yes, we got the Friendly Thoughts podcast, which I do solo and rant to myself, and some people seem to enjoy it. And the snubbed Quick Save Club podcast, PC gaming podcast, monthly show, and Twitter, where I basically post a bunch of random thoughts and musings and talk about how much I love The Last Jedi, I guess. That's at Frantic Society.
All right. And Ryan?
You can find me on Twitter. It's Rocket Sauce. And I also have an Instagram, same handle. So you can find me on there, but I'm mostly on Twitter the most. So.
Very good. For me, you can most easily find me on twitch.tv/mustyhobbit. I am planning on going live in a little bit here if anyone wants to just keep this hype train rolling. I'm not sure what to play, but I have a couple of ideas. Yeah, I've been streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday nights. Alternatively, you can find me on Twitter at mustyhobbit. So that is a wrap, and we shift our focus to 2020. Again, huge thank you to everyone who stopped by to watch us rave about our favorites from the previous year. Can't wait to see what's ahead for all of us. Thank you. Good night. CC Unite.
Bye.
Bye.